Okay, what's going on, guys? What's guys, gals, everybody out there, friends, family, YouTube? Welcome back, Crypto Mid here. Um, Wanted to make this video kind of going into the more techie side of Bitcoin and kind of how it works a little bit. So what you'll hear a lot of times associated with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is something called blockchain. So essentially, what blockchain is, you can think of it as they call it like a digital ledger. And so essentially all ledger is essentially it's just pretty much a database, if you want to think about it that way, a database of all the transactions that are taking place on the network. It's pretty essentially what it boils down to, just in a way that you guys can relate to, is that's just all it is. um, so the blockchain, just think of it as a database that stores and keeps and makes notes of all the transactions that take place on a network for Bitcoin and whatever coin it is. So and then like I said, so a network, kind of, if you guys want to know more about a network, essentially is man, the best way to describe it, essentially just like if you have a physical network of friends, how you guys communicate. You might have like a network of friends that you talk to and kind of interact with. Think of like a digital currency network or like a Bitcoin network the same way. So you have Bitcoin is just once you download the blockchain on a computer or wherever you download it, well, now it's part of that network and it's communicating with that entity, essentially that node or that entity on the network to help strengthen the network. That's kind of getting into the more technical side. I'm trying to think of the best way to articulate it for it not to go over everybody's heads who's not a technical person. So I apologize. That was a little ambiguous or a little bit confusing. Um, but anyway, just to get back on the topic. So so essentially, yeah. So that's what a blockchain is, and the blockchain, yeah, it's just what stores all that data on the blockchain. So that's another reason why Bitcoin is kind of taken off, because essentially this is like the new wave. It's like this whole blockchain. It's a better way of kind of storing data for any kind of use. Like banks like it, just governments, like just it's got so many different uses. That's another reason why Bitcoin is kind of taken off right now. That's just another added bonus or feature of it. And so last video I was talking about confirmations. So essentially, that kind of ties back into the blockchain where you've got these confirmations. So essentially, like once I send Bitcoin to, say, if I send it to my Kraken account, well, now essentially that transaction has to take place on the blockchain. So it has to be accounted for and it has to be confirmed. So they have to make sure that that transaction is actual real and is taking place, and that it's not a fake transaction. Essentially, if you want to look at it that way. So um, essentially, that kind of ties in with like the miners. So like I said, Bitcoin is like what they consider mineable. So there's people who have like computers and powerful machines that instead of paying for Bitcoin, they search for Bitcoin on the blockchain. And so essentially think of it as like you're kind of like mining for gold. Like you know the location where the gold is, but you have to mine for it to actually find the gold nuggets. So essentially think of mining Bitcoin the same way. And as these miners mine for the Bitcoin and try to find the Bitcoin, all they're doing is going through all these transactions in the ledger. So they're just essentially like kind of like solving equations, solving equations, solving equations. And by them solving those equations, they're saying, okay, hey, um, this transaction came up. All right, this transaction actually took place. So then you get a confirmation. Um, and then so for Bitcoin, you'll see you need 2 out of 2 confirmations for it to take place. So that usually happens pretty quickly. Like I said, that kind of goes into like the mining side of it or going through the ledger side of it. But essentially, it happens to get the confirmation. Usually takes anywhere from maybe 15 minutes to maybe like 30 minutes. Sometimes less, sometimes longer. That's just a rough estimate. And then, but you need those confirmations to actually before that Bitcoin, like, because you'll see it show up in your wallet, but you won't be able to do anything with it. Like you'll just see it and it'll say pending, and it'll say 0 out of 2 confirmations or 1 out of 2 confirmations. So you need those confirmations before you can actually say switch Bitcoin to like an altcoin. Or if you want to, if you're like, man, I sent it to this address, I should have sent it to a different one. Well, you can't send it again until it gets those confirmations. So yeah, so that's just kind of like a quick breakdown essentially of confirmations and kind of how it works. Like I said, if anything wasn't clear, please let me know and I'll break it down further essentially. But essentially that's kind of just a quick breakdown, and yeah, not anything too big or anything about confirmations. And I think I'll go ahead and wrap up the video here. I don't really want to get into the too technicals. I can if you guys want me to, and I'll try to think of a more articulate way of kind of breaking it down in a way that you guys understand it. But if you guys want me to break down the technicals, I definitely will. But I'll go ahead and wrap up the video here. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody. Thanks. Catch you guys later. Bye.